The United Nations is calling for a complete end to female genital cutting. Victims and medical experts say the harmful practice leaves women and girls with short and long-term physical and psychological damage.
Malian singer Ina Moja is a survivor of female genital mutilation or cutting, FGMC. Moja, who recently performed at an event at the United Nations in New York, has called for a complete end to the practice.
As an African woman, I went through female genital mutilation. I know what it is, and I know how harmful it is. And I want to protect those younger girls and those generation coming because FGM has to end.
The UN's Children's Agency, UNICEF, says more than 200 million girls and women globally have suffered genital mutilation, far higher than previously estimated. The ancient ritual, practiced in some countries in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, usually involves the partial or total removal of a girl's external genitalia. Moja, who now lives in France, has undergone reconstructive surgery. Moja, who now lives in France, has undergone reconstructive surgery to reverse FGM procedure. But she says the scars remain.
Getting repaired via reconstructive surgery by Professor Pierre Foldes also helped me to heal. It helped me to heal physically and psychologically, and somehow it repaired me. But when you say repair, there's always a scar. It's like when you break a glass and glue it back together. There are always break lines, and my excisions are my break lines.
UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon says new and unharmful rites of passage should replace female genital mutilation.
Let us shift the focus away from mutilation to education. Let us make a world where FGM stands for focus on girls' minds.
Ending female genital mutilation is part of a set of development goals adopted by UN member states last year. Goal 5 counts among its targets eliminating FGM by 2030. Somalia has the highest rate of FGM, where figures show 98% of women and girls between age 15 and 49 have been cut. Guinea, Djibouti, and Sierra Leone also have very high rates.
Joining us now in the studio is Angela Peabody, President and founder of the Global Woman P.E.A.C.E. Foundation. Ms. Peabody, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We saw the report. The practice is still ongoing. Some people call it circumcision, some people call it genital mutilation, others cutting. How do you define it? How do you call it and why?
I call it female genital mutilation, but to be politically correct, if I'm speaking at a university where they prefer to be more sensitive and call it cutting, then I go with cutting. But it is female genital mutilation cutting, and that's what the U.S. government calls it.
And when we look at this practice that has been there for so many years, over 5,000 years, if I remember correctly, it started in Egypt. Today, people are practicing it almost around the world. What is the reason? Some people try to tie it to religion, but it is not really a religious practice.
It has absolutely nothing to do with religion. As a matter of fact, it predates Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. It has nothing to do with it, and you will not find it in any of the religious books.
So what do you say to those people who even say, okay, it's a cultural practice, we have to maintain it, our mothers did it, and we have to do it now?
We don't have to do it. We don't have, there are some, I am a big promoter of upholding my traditions, my African traditions. However, that is one tradition that I don't want to uphold. I don't think we have to do it. It needs to end, because any tradition that entails harmful practice on girls, on little girls, and causes death in most cases, I think it needs to be ended.
But this discussion has been ongoing for a while now about stopping the practice, ending the practice. But it is still happening in many places. What is the rhetoric? What do you tell people that are still doing it? How do we move from that to something different?
We have to find a way to replace, because also it's economical. It has economics attached to it. The women who perform it, the excisers in Africa and other places, this is their livelihood.
Yes.
So how do you tell them, stop doing this, stop doing your livelihood, and get no revenue coming in? We have to find ways to replace the practice of FGM.
And we have to find ways. This is one of the things that you try to do through your organization. Quickly tell us about some of the steps that you're taking. You've opened a couple of centers. Tell us how. What is the response?
Well, the main thing is to educate the American people, as well as all over the world. But the Americans need to know, because it is happening here. There has been an influx of immigration. So what we did, my organization, Global Woman P.E.A.C.E. Foundation, we decided to open centers so that we can have women who have undergone FGM come in, and we give them psychological counseling, as well as raise funds to assist them to receive the clitoral restorative surgery.
And quickly, how are they responding? Do they come forward?
The response has not been as we expected when we opened the centers, because women are still afraid and ashamed. They feel that it's something they're not supposed to talk about, because in a lot of countries they swear them to secrecy when it's done to them, and they uphold that secrecy to their deaths most times. So it is a challenge, but we are not giving up, and we will continue to call on women to come to us for help. We're also looking at a way to prevent it from occurring here in the States. We started something called the Kids Reach program, where we are petitioning online. We have a petition to the U.S. Department of Education so that we can get the curriculum done in the schools.
Okay, and we're going to keep an eye on it. We have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Ms. Peabody, for coming. And that was Angela Peabody, President and founder of the Global Woman P.E.A.C.E. Foundation. That's our Africa Health Report for today. Vincent?
Well, Linord, thanks. Be sure to watch Linord Moudou's health reports every Tuesday and Thursday right here on Africa 54.